I wanted to show a part of this video with our president speaking, and I don't believe in really. I don't want to interrupt the man. To be honest with you, he's the president of the United States. I'm nobody to interrupt him, even while he's doing a video here. There's a couple of points I might want to make, but this is not the part of the video that I wanted to start with. Is I don't want it to be taken out of context. And even if I just started at that point, there were questions earlier, so I'm going to show a few questions that he's making here, and then go into. I'll make a comment just to say, "Oh, this is where I really wanted to start." So I'll play this right now, and because it's his testimony to a town in New York and what's happening that I wanted to play. And this thing's like an hour and something long, right? So I wasn't trying to show the whole thing, but he's doing these things, and it's important to listen to him. He's the news. He even says on a lot of this, he's like, nobody's watching, these other news places and stuff, and their ratings are bad. Well, and he's right, because the people want the truth, but it should be up to the people to decide what they want to watch. And pretty much, he's telling it like, that he's going to do whatever's necessary. Or he's talking in New York at a hospital that he's familiar with, that there's body bags lining the street, basically. So here, I'm going to play this. You might have missed this because the news doesn't really try to highlight what he says, but everything he says is important. So I backed it up a good ways. I'll start playing it now.
That you signed into law. In your view, do you think that another phase bill may be necessary? And are you prepared to support that, Mr. President?
Well, I'm prepared to do whatever's necessary to, number one, save lives, and number two, bring our economy back strong, just like it was before. I think our economy has a chance to be just as... These are loans to great companies that got stopped from doing business. They'll be back very soon. So much of the money that we're talking about, that money's coming back, and we'll take warrants, meaning we'll take pieces of the company for the taxpayers of our nation. I expect that we'll make a lot of money with that money. We're going to make a lot of money, and it's okay. I don't even want to talk about making money, because what I want to talk about is two things. Number one is saving lives, and number two is bringing our economy back, okay? But I think we're going to do very well. That whole money, a lot of it's coming back. Please.
Mr. President, thank you. Earlier this afternoon, you had tweeted that there are on average 8.5 million Americans tuned into these daily press briefings. Yet there are some networks out there that are, concerned about taking these briefings.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. No, I've read that.
What do you say to these detractors?
Well, I've read that CNN doesn't want to cover them. I've read that, except they can't help them because the ratings are so high. If the ratings were low, they wouldn't be here. This man wouldn't be here. In 100 years, you could bet your life that he would never be here with CNN and all their cameras if they're bad, because we help their ratings. We lift up their ratings because their ratings are very low. But for the most part, I haven't heard that. I will say the Washington Post has a drive on not to go to the President of the United States news conference because, frankly, so many people are watching. We're getting the word out. We're getting the accurate word out. And a lot of people are happy about it. And a lot of people aren't. But they should be happy. When I have the general, when I have Seema, and when I have Tony, when I have our incredible... These are all like people that have become big stars, okay? But they've done a great job. But Deborah has done a fantastic... All of these people, they don't want to be stars. You know what they want? They want to win. They want to win the battle against the virus. They've been fighting this stuff their whole life. Between Ebola and swine flu and... I don't know. I'm not sure I'd love your life, but... That's what you like, right? That's what they do. They fight disease. And you know what? There's nobody that does it better. But I think the American public, ultimately, they should be the decider. It's like, if they don't want to watch, they shouldn't watch. And we shouldn't have bigger ratings than The Bachelor, or, as the New York Times said, we have Monday Night Football type ratings. Now, I didn't say that. I have no idea what they are, in a sense. But I know that the Times... They say it's all the news that's fit to print. I say it's all the news that's not fit to print because I think they are not honest people. But that's okay. But they can't help it. But even they said that the ratings are like Monday Night Football ratings, and that these are like Bachelor finale. That's their end. When the big deal happened, I have no idea what happened because I'm too busy working on this. Somebody will tell me what happened. So, no, I think it's terrible. When they don't want the President of the United States to have a voice,
That's where I wanted to start
you're not
it.
talking about democracy any longer, please.
And another
Thank you
part.
very much.
Thanks, Mr. President. You've talked a lot about concerns about leaving the economy for so long. Was there any dissent from your top economic advisors in your decision to leave the guidelines in place until the end of April?
No, and this is before we heard the 2.2 million people. I mean, we had a lot of people were saying maybe we shouldn't do anything. Just ride it. They say ride it like a cowboy. Just ride it. Ride that sucker right through. That's where the 2.2 million people come in. Would have died, maybe, but it would have been 1.6 to 2.2. And that's not acceptable. But there were a lot of people that said, I thought about it. I said, maybe we should ride it through. You know, you always hear about the flu. I talk about it all the time. We had a bad flu season. We're in the midst of a bad flu season. You know, we had a bad, you'll have 35, 36, 37,000 people die, sometimes more, sometimes less. But this is different. And part of this is the unknown. And part of it also is the viciousness of it. I had a friend who went to a hospital the other day. He's a little older and he's heavy. But he's a tough person. And he went to the hospital, and a day later, he's in a coma. I go, how's he doing? Sir, he's in a coma. He's unconscious. He's not doing well. The speed and the viciousness, especially if it gets the right person, it's horrible. It's really horrible. Please, go ahead.
Mr. President, this may be good for some of the advisors as well. We've heard some rumors that Louisiana is really going to get hit hard next because there's a possibility with Mardi Gras. Have you guys seen any data to back that up of what happened a few weeks ago and whether or not that's contributing to the spike in Louisiana?
I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's a fact. Louisiana's been hit hard. And Louisiana is an example. It started off with like nobody for so long. When I spoke to the governor. But Deborah or Tony, either of you, if you'd like to talk.
You know, I think you heard us talk about a week ago that we were very worried about the numbers and how they were increasing in Louisiana, how they were increasing in Cook County, how they were increasing in Dearborn and Detroit. And I think those are areas that we're still watching very carefully. And like the president said, when people get this virus, some people do very poorly. And when certain metro areas get exposed to the virus, we see this really very rapid expansion of the virus. We think it may have been circulating there for, a couple of weeks. I don't like to look backwards. I only like to look forwards. And really, we are putting all of our effort into ensuring that the people of New Orleans, the people of the Detroit region, frankly, the people of New York. I mean, some of the fastest growing counties are not New York itself, New York City. When you look at it per 100,000, it's Rockland, it's Bergen. So, I mean, all of these places are people that have transited through cities. And that's why we really did want the travel advisory, just to really warn people to watch out for their own health, to really take their temperatures. And so it can go from 50, 100, 500 cases, and the next thing you know, it's 2,000, it's 4,000, it's 10,000. And because it then gets across all communities, people get very sick.
You know, you made the comment about New Orleans. This can happen anywhere, and that's really one of the issues that we're concerned about and why we were so reluctant to pull back at a time when we need to put our foot on the gas as opposed to on the brake. And as what Dr. Berg said, this is exactly what you see. There are a number of communities, cities, states, what have you out there, in which they're trickling along like that. Don't get complacent about that, because that's exactly the way the virus works. It goes like this, then like this, and then it goes up like that. That's exactly what happened in New Orleans. That's what happened in a terrible way with New York. That's what we're trying to avoid in multiple locations throughout the country. So we shouldn't take any solace when we see low levels in different states, different cities, different areas, because they're very vulnerable to an explosion.
And Mr. President, last question for me, sir. Just real quick, I asked the Vice President a week ago, and I think we talked about it last week as well. You took the test that first time, I remember that, and I think you took it last week, Mr. Vice President. Have you had a chance to take it again? Does it get easier the second time around? Does it? I mean, do you feel?
Well, I
How are you
haven't.
feeling? Yeah.
I think I'm waiting for that little 45-minute test. I sort of like that, or now it's down to 5 minutes. I understand, but no, I haven't. But I think I will take it again if it's appropriate. I don't feel there's any symptoms. I don't notice. Have you noticed any sniffles? Nothing, right? So far I haven't felt that way. But there was a big, strong point made originally. I think it still holds. Take the test if you need it. If you have the symptoms. If you don't take it. I don't have it, but I would take it. I just wanted to say one thing also about what Tony had mentioned. So I grew up in Queens, New York,
This part.
and right next to a place called Elmhurst, Queens, and they have a hospital that's a very good hospital, Elmhurst Hospital. Right? I've known it. I've known where it is. I can tell you the color on the outside, the size of the windows. I mean, I know it very well. Right? I was near my community where I lived, and I've been watching that for the last week on television. Body bags all over in hallways. I've been watching them bring in trailer trucks, freezer trucks. They're freezer trucks
Reefer unit.
because they can't handle the bodies. There's so many of them. This is essentially in my community in Queens, New York. I've seen things that I've never seen before. I mean, I've seen them, but I've seen them on television in faraway lands. I've never seen them in our country. Elmhurst Hospital. Unbelievable people. I mean, when I see the trucks pull up to take out bodies, and these are trucks that are as long as the Rose Garden, and they're pulling up to take out bodies, and you look inside and you see the black body bags. You say, what's in there? It's Elmhurst Hospital. Must be supplies. It's not supplies. It's people. I've never seen anything like it. So these people are doing a fantastic job, and somebody else who's doing a fantastic job is sitting here, who is the head of the task force. And I just maybe want to finish off because I'd like to ask Mike, what do you think about what we've done, and where do you think we're going, and how do you feel also, and you studied this so closely, how do you feel about the curve and the June 1st date? And that's aspirational, but I think it's really modified aspirational, because I think we're going to hit it, and maybe we'll even beat it. Okay, Mike, please.
Okay, so, not to interrupt the vice president either, but I just wanted to put that part out. I'll put a link up to the whole video if you want the whole video. It's actually up on my Twitter already. My point is this. This is the truth that you're not seeing in regular news. And that was like a testimonial from a person, Yeah, he's the president, but he's also a person. So just wanted to put this up because I am pretty sure that they will edit him heavily. Even I had to go so far back just to get that story in so that you saw that there was no reason for me to, edit it in a way that it was, what's the word when it's taken out of context. That's why I showed all those other comments till I got to here, or all those other questions for him. But anyways, there's more to the video. I would highly recommend to watch these updates, these press briefings with the president as often as they come out, simply because little pieces like that are giving you a clear picture of what's going on. So that's all I got. I just wanted to put this up. It's kind of like a mid-afternoon report, and I missed a morning report the other day. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I'm, working on growing food. At this point, if I were you, I would do the same, because when the truckers are sick and cannot bring you food, you better have a garden. Listen, people, throw together the ugliest shanty of a building, put some clear plastic roofing from Home Depot. It's about $20 a sheet. And it's made in Israel, of odd things. I've got a sticker off of it. I like how they hid the Passover. I stuck it up on the building I built. But any kind of a small throw together thing of a greenhouse, it doesn't have to be sealed at this point because it's not wintertime. Just a place to start your plants above ground And as soon as you get them in ground, start growing more seeds of more baby plants. So I would highly recommend, if you want vegetables and food, yeah, you can have all the canned goods you want, but you better be saving your seeds even for next year. This is going to be a prolonged year after year event. They're saying they're not going to get rid of it, that, it's going around. And so it can't get better. It can only get worse until, for at least the next 3 years, we figure out who all it's going to take out and what all services it's going to affect. So if everybody has what I would call a victory garden, because we're looking for victory over this, it's going to take a while, probably 3 years if you're asking me. Plus with the crops and what's going on, and the flooding, and before that, the drought that has affected our crops. So if anybody wants me to put up a video, maybe I should show a video of Jack. I'm calling it my food shack because it's not much of anything, but the plants don't care, people. The plants do not care. They're going to grow. So just start them in potting soil because dirt's too heavy for them. And when you till up the ground, if it needs lime, you can get all that tested, or you can do above ground gardening by putting down some newspaper, a square frame of wood, and fill it up with topsoil and manure. 1 bag of manure for every 2 to 3 bags of topsoil. Grow anything. Like I said, I thought about maybe showing what I'm up to. So stay safe, people. Stay well. I'm out. Peace. Oh, stay home. Yeah. Social distancing, mask up, wear goggles because it's ocular, and stay the F home, like they're saying. I'm out. Peace.